This fancy-looking guy is one of the greatest guitars in the history of rock music, the Frankenstrat. Personally, I'd call it the greatest. Built by Eddie himself, this unique guitar has a cool appearance and an awesome timbre. No other guitar can better represent the glorious era of the guitar hero. Now this masterpiece is in the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art, and its creator, Eddie Van Halen, the guitarist of the legendary rock band Van Halen, passed away on October 6th. As a designer, to pay tribute to the great guitarist, we produced lock screen wallpapers and posters themed as Frankenstrat using SketchUp and V-Ray rendering. Okay, now let's get started. We found the model online at 3 Warehouse. The model is incredibly detailed. Thanks for the excellent work by the author Freak316. Cool ID, by the way. To ensure smooth rendering, we made some modifications to the original model. First, fix the inside-out faces. You don't have to do this, but this is a good habit, because it avoids possible errors during rendering. Second, add the strings on the tuning knobs. Third, use round corner for most parts of the instrument. These details are especially important for a realistic rendering effect. Fourth, unsoften the edges to avoid possible errors during rendering. Fifth, remove the metal part textures because they will be set in V-Ray. To make the best use of this work, we decide to make it into a lock screen wallpaper. Open Asset Editor. Select Settings. Select Custom in Render Output. Set Aspect Width, Height to 1:2 and turn on Save Frame. Now let's think about the composition. Frankenstrat's body was painted with red, white, and black stripes, together with lots of other details. It is highly recognizable with a great visual impact. So, it symbolizes Eddie just by sitting there on its own. Therefore, we use the front view to render the guitar body. Now let's set the lights. In V-Ray, add a rectangle light above the guitars as the key light. Among all the artificial lights included in V-Ray, rectangle light creates the most natural soft shadow. It's also the most flexible to use and easiest to control. Its brightness is related to the intensity value and size. The higher the intensity value, the brighter it is. The larger the size is, the brighter it is. There are no rules about the size of the light. Usually it depends on the scale of the model and personal experience. But if there is a specific lamp, then the size of the light should match the lamp size. Add a fill light on both sides of the guitar to create more details of the shadows. Let's see what the scene looks like with the 3 lights with default values. Key light, fill light 1, and fill light 2. Pretty simple, right? Next, we just need to adjust the intensity or size of the 3 lights to make the image look more harmonious. If you have experience in photography, that would be helpful to do a better job. During the whole process, material override is enabled so that V-Ray will override the whole model with RGB value of 188 by default. You can also use Render with V-Ray Interactive to adjust the light values while observing whether the results meet your expectations. After the lights achieve the desired effect, we can start to deal with the materials. First, the red, white, and black stripes of the body. Enable reflection and adjust the value of reflection color and reflection glossiness in the Materials panel. Then the metal. The reflection IOR of metal is usually quite high. You can set it to 10, 15, or even higher. Remember the round corner processing before? This is very important because the highlights on the round corners will greatly affect the appearance of the metal. Then adjust reflection color. For example, adding gold color with appropriate saturation can reproduce the brace effect of a screw. Black metal. The value of reflection IOR should be lowered to make the material diffuse black. For rusty metal, directly use the material in V-Ray's preset material library and modify the color of the rust. This is a great library and can save you a lot of time. Finally, the material of the guitar pickguard made of black plastic. Add a stain texture on it. It makes the pickguard look more detailed. Look at the overall rendering result. Isn't it great? There are many post-editing options in V-Ray's frame buffer. They can do most of the work of Photoshop, including the most common adjustments. Like the adjustments of overall exposure, highlight burn, contrast, white balance, and saturation. If you like, you can also open the lens effect setting to add bloom glare effect to the highlights. The inspiration of the second picture comes from a famous photo of Eddie. This time, Frankenstrat is set as the focus of the stage. To create the atmosphere, we need to use a volume light. Enable the Volumetric Environment in the Settings panel of V-Ray Asset Editor. Set Type to Environment Fog. Then add a rectangle light above the guitar with the same size of the spotlight to light up the guitar. And set the environment fog to be only affected by this specific light. This is for eliminating the influence of other lights and controlling the concentration of the environment fog. For detailed usage of V-Ray Volumetric Environment, see our tutorial How to use SketchUp and V-Ray to create volume light counterpart. Finally, in the frame buffer window, set the image to black and white. A lit cigarette on the guitar head is Eddie's signature while playing the instrument. To tell you the truth, when I began to play the guitar, I also did this to impress others. I wonder if you've ever done this. So, I made the third picture, the cigarette on the head. Obviously, it's difficult, because in SketchUp, there's no special effect system for particles and fluid. But we had Photoshop. At first, I tried to use the PNG texture to create the smoke directly in the model, but the result was not satisfactory. So I just imported the rendered image into Photoshop, created a new layer, and used the smoke brush to draw the smoke. Wow, looks cool. Let's see how it looks as the lock screen wallpaper. For a moment, I really wish Eddie could see these pictures and know that the people around the world who have been deeply influenced by him still remember him. And I thought, why not print it? So I printed those pictures and hung them on the wall of my studio. This is SketchUp Rabbit Hole. We will share tutorials on SketchUp modeling, V-Ray rendering, Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and other architectural visualization tutorials every week. Subscribe to us and don't forget to hit the notification bell to keep up to date with our latest videos. You will get more interesting tutorials and examples of things that you've never seen before. We are special. See you next time.